Brandon, this is Alan Cockrell with ABC, hitting coordinator for the Arizona Diamondbacks. I'm going to run through your swing today and just look at some of the things that I talk to my hitters about. When I look at your setup position, very athletic, and you are into your legs, meaning you're balanced. You got some good bend in your knees. When we get into the load process, we don't want to lose that balance. We don't want to lose that athletic bend in our knees. So when we go back, do a very good job of loading into your back leg, and this back knee stays inside this back foot. A lot of young hitters will load on top of this leg, and that creates some problems as we start to transfer weight once we get the foot into the foot down position. But do a good job of loading into that back leg. I'd like to see just a little bit more looseness, a little bit more bend in this front elbow right here, so that the hands can maintain this shoulder height, and we can keep a little bit of an angle to our bat instead of laying it flat behind our head. When this front arm starts to lock out or stiffen out, that bat has a tendency to get a little bit flat, and it tends to wrap behind our head just a little bit. That creates a sweeping action with the barrel of the bat going through the hitting zone, as opposed to being able to really release and fire that bat through and almost throw that bat through contact and keep the barrel of the bat traveling in the hitting zone a little bit longer. So really just, keep some loose bend in this front elbow, just so that we don't get that bat laying flat and wrapped around our head. We've got a little bit better angle to be able to get the bat released through all parts of the zone. Okay. Now we start to go into now the final phase of the load, which is setting the foot down. Okay. Now when the foot lands, we want to have equal bend in both of these knees. Okay. This knee is good. This knee is a little locked out. Okay, we want to have the same amount of bend in this front knee as we do in this back knee, so that the feet will sit inside. Okay, now at this particular point, the hips will be square, and when we look at your hips, we're starting to have just a little bit of a tilt, and it's starting this front hip to open up just a little bit quickly. Okay, the other thing it doesn't allow for is a weight transfer. If I come down with this leg, this stride leg, and I've got some good athletic bend, as much bend in both knees, then I can keep this hip square. Okay. We also see the shoulders have a little bit of tilt to them, and again this front arm is straight, and now the barrel of the bat is behind the head. So the biggest thing for me is when we land and we get into this loaded position, we've got equal amount of bend in this front knee right here as we do in the back knee. And that's going to allow us to be in a better position so that we can get a weight transfer. Okay. When we start to go forward into the swing, we see the front leg stiffen out, and now this knee, this back knee, starts to come out and around this front leg. Okay. And when it starts to come out and around, that causes our hands to cast out and work around our body. Okay. In this area, so that the swing will actually sweep in the zone and then quickly get out of the zone. You can see the hands come forward, we get to contact right here, and now the hands are going to pull across, continue to pull across, and the barrel of the bat is going to be out of the zone very quickly. You can see here now how the barrel is coming out of the zone. So again, for me, that all goes back to the athletic position that we get into in that load. When we set that foot down, if we have good equal bend, now we've got an ability to be able to take this back side and drive it into the front side. Okay, equal bend right here. And this knee, when the foot gets down, is going to allow for this knee to transfer weight that was in here. Now we can now transfer weight into there. All right, that's going to keep our head from being on our back leg and just kind of spinning from this particular position. So an actual weight transfer takes place so that we can have the same swing to contact the ball in the inner part of the plate, the ball in the middle, and the ball in the way. The only thing that changes is our point of contact. In this particular position that we're in, this spinning and this sweeping action of the hands is going to cause us to probably handle the ball middle to maybe middle in a little bit more effectively, just because the bat path works around our body instead of letting this elbow slide underneath and then letting the hands work freely out front to all these locations, and finishing with good extension in all of these locations. So as the hands start to come forward, now you can see that the barrel of your bat is outside of your hands right here, and that's just the sweeping action that's going to bring this barrel out and around. Contact will probably be about right here, and now the finish of the swing will just finish in this position, as opposed to getting to contact, getting good long extension, and then the finish is full and long in the arc, such as that. Okay, but we can see how quickly the hands come around. Best way to practice this, really, Brandon, is off a tee. All good major league hitters, a lot of them have their routines in the cage daily prior to batting practice. They work off the tee, and the main reason that they do that is that they can set the ball in the exact location that they want to work on. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is we're going to set the tee out here on the outer third of the plate. We're going to set it just even with or just inside your stride foot. Okay, and we're going to load. The load is good going back. But just remember, when that stride foot lands, I don't want to have this leg locked out. See how it's straight right there? We want to have this stride leg. We want to have good equal bend in this leg so that this knee is not stiff. There's some good bend, and that knee is setting inside that foot. Okay? Now we can get a transfer of weight into that front leg and be able to extend the barrel of the ball through this pitch that's out here on the outer third. As it is right now, we're working around our front side, and that brings the barrel into the zone and out of the zone in more of a sweeping action. We want to be able to get to the point of contact and be able to extend that barrel and stay through that ball and drive it. This would be a drill that in a cage we would be driving this ball into the right side of the cage, probably through the second baseman, maybe into right center field. But our goal is to get our lower half in a good position to allow for weight transfer to keep the barrel staying through this ball. We're going to try to keep this ball off the top of the net. If we sweep the bat and the barrel tends to drag a little bit, there's a chance that we may hit this ball in the top of the net. If my hands cast out and around too much, then there's a chance that I'll get the barrel to this ball, but I'll roll over it, and it'll be that little ground ball to the pull side. This is a ball that is elevated thigh high, and we should be able to drive this ball through the right side. And again, it goes back to this athletic bend right here. This bend, that knee should be in this position, and then that knee should set inside this foot. Now we can get a good transfer. The other thing I would work on is just having a little bit more relaxed front arm, so the barrel of the bat is more in this position up here, as opposed to getting this arm locked out and sweeping through it. So, Brandon, this would be a drill. I'm very confident that this will help you, and just pay attention to how athletic you can stay with your lower half. And the more athletic you stay with your lower half, good bend in both knees are inside the feet, transferring weight into that front leg is going to allow for a lot better extension. And the toughest ball to stay on is that ball that's outer half, outer third. So we're going to work that in the cage off the tee, and just feel the extension when your lower half stays athletic and balanced, and how you have the ability to stay through this ball and drive it out there to the right side. Okay, bud? Thanks for coming to our camp, and best of luck.